There we go. All right, boys, it was 9 o'clock. Good morning. Like we said earlier, happy April. We're in April. Can you guys believe it's April? So we got April, May, and then a week and maybe and a half of school left. I know some of you are already planning to come back on the 19th. Most of you are going to stay home and continue this way online. So let's get our week started. Let's get our April started. So here we go. So we know we always start with our Pledge of Allegiance. So put your right hand over your heart and begin. If it ever gets started, oh, my computer's slow today.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Excellent.
Thank you, Mr. Jimenez. Boys and girls, so we have been through all the pillars of character thus far, but this month we return back to responsibility. We started off with responsibility at the beginning of the school year. We're coming back, but we will focus on a different aspect of responsibility. Earth Day falls in April, so we will focus on how we can be responsible citizens of this planet. But before we jump into that part, let's go through some of our what we remember about responsibility, okay? So responsibility means accountability. That's a big word. Can you repeat after me? Ready? Go. Accountability. This means that you accept responsibility for the consequences of your actions, okay? You say you're going to do something and you will do it, or if there's consequences. Consequences can be good or consequences can sometimes be negative. We also talk about self-control. Being responsible means we have a positive attitude and set realistic goals for yourselves, okay? You can control yourself and what happens in your lives. Duty, doing the right thing. And we'll learn about that a little bit today. And then excellence. Pursuing excellence means doing your best. And it means persevering without giving up, being prepared and organized for hard work. Okay, so today I want to introduce you to something new. Some of you may have seen this in upper grades, but let's look at this infographic. Let's see how people around the world are working together to make the planet better for everyone. So boys and girls, there's an organization called UNESCO, and it's an organization made up of many countries around the world. It was founded in actually 1945 when many countries joined because they knew they must work together to build peace through cooperation. That's a lot of big words, right? Cooperation, and focus on education, science, and culture. And they set some goals, boys and girls. If you look at this chart, they set some goals in 2015 that they wanted to achieve by 2030. And one of the goals that they wanted to focus on, number one, if you see there, it says no poverty. Poverty means being really poor. There's lots of people around the world who live in extreme poverty. They have barely enough food to eat, which if you look at goal number 2, it says zero hunger. So the goal of UNESCO is actually to make sure that everyone has enough to eat and that people around the world are not going hungry. And if you look at the 17 goals, there's lots of great things that they want to achieve. One of them being clean water and sanitation. Did you know that in many parts of the world, people don't have access, they don't have clean water to drink? And then quality education, same thing. We at Kittredge were fortunate to have good education, but that's not the case for many kids and people around the world. So, but if you look at number 15, that's the one I wanted to highlight for us. It's life on land. And you may have read in your classrooms about things that human beings are doing to impact the planet, right? And one of the negative impacts is cutting down forests or deforestation. One of our goals is to think about how we, as citizens of this planet, can take care of the planet so that we're not devastating the animals and people who are relying on forests for their food and for their livelihood. So yeah, when people cut down forests, what they're doing is they're also forcing animals out of their habitat and disturbing the ecosystem. So this is where we need to think about this character trait of responsibility. How do we, as human beings, how can we act in a responsible way so we're not destroying our environment? Okay, so today we wanted you to listen to a story about a boy who single-handedly made a difference by doing something helpful for the planet. So let's go ahead and listen.
Hello and welcome back to another edition of Sankofa Read Aloud. Today's story is titled The True Story of Jadav Payeng, the Boy Who Grew a Forest. Written by Sophia Gotts, illustrated by Kayla Heron. I hope that you enjoy this amazing story. In India, on a large river island, among farms and families hard at work, there lived a boy who loved trees. Trees meant shade, food, and shelter for many. But each rainy season, flood waters swallowed more and more of the beautiful tree-covered land. The boy's precious island was shrinking, eroding away with the rushing river, leaving empty sandbars behind. The boy witnessed animals stranded on those sandbars, their homes destroyed. If animals withered without trees, people would too. The boy shared his fears with the village. The elders explained that the only way to help animals was to create new homes for them. They gifted the boy with 20 bamboo saplings. Alone, he canoed down the muddy river. He wished he could cover all the land with trees, but a large sandbar nearby was a place to start. The land was too barren for animals, the shores too sandy for leafy trees. Would bamboo grow? The boy hoped. Determined, he began to plant. One shaft, two, then three. Every day he watered the saplings by hand, sweat trickling down his face and chest. He built a watering system to help and lugged heavy buckets from the river. His arms grew tired, his back sore. Still, each day, he tended to the plants, and over time, the bamboo patch grew into a healthy thicket. The boy was proud of his work, but he worried it wouldn't be enough to stop the swelling river or to provide shelter for animals. If he wanted more plants to grow, he would have to create a richer soil. The boy carried cow dung, earthworms, termites, and angry red ants that bit him on the journey to their new home. He brought seeds from neighboring villages, over trails, through bush, down the river. Each day he planted. As years passed and the boy grew, so did the forest. 10 acres, 20 acres, then 40. Wildlife returned for the first time in many years. Buffalo, one-horned rhinos, and snakes, gibbons, migratory birds, and elephants. The man's forest teemed with life and diversity. Not everyone was happy. Fear swept over the villages when tigers arrived. So the man planted more grasses to attract small animals that would keep the tigers happy in the forest. Elephants wandered into neighboring farms to feast on the crops. So the man planted more fruiting trees to help feed the hungry elephants. Some wanted to harvest the forest to build homes, but the man was there to plant anew. Others tried to hunt the animals for their horns and fur, but the man was there to protect. Few thought the forest would last, but the man believed in its strength. Now, in India, on a large river island, among wildlife and trees as tall as buildings, there lives a man who has planted a forest. The forest is called Molai, after a man named Jadav, Molai Payang, who never stopped planting and pruning and protecting. Only by growing plants, the earth will survive. Jadav Payang.
Hope you enjoy that story and hope it was inspirational. As you can see, every person is capable of making a difference, whether it's planting a tree or stopping someone from destroying the environment. So we all can make a difference. All right, boys and girls, our next topic is Armenian History Month. So April has been designated as Armenian History Month by Los Angeles City Council a few years ago. Since we have a large Armenian community in Kittredge, we will spend some time learning about the history of the Armenian people, the cultures, and the traditions. Today, we will start by looking at the Armenian alphabet. So if you're not familiar with it, let's take a look. So here is the Armenian alphabet. You will notice that the characters are very different from English. It was introduced in 405 AD by Mesrop Mashtots. That's over 1600 years ago. And it originally had 36 letters, but later on 3 more letters were added. The alphabet has 7 vowels. Okay, so it's different. English has 5 vowels. The Armenian alphabet has 7. And something interesting is that the punctuation is different in the Armenian alphabet and compared to other languages. For example, so at the end of a sentence, usually you have a period to show the stop. In Armenian, it's 2 dots. It's like this colon in English. The question marks and exclamation marks are on the words in the middle of a sentence instead of the end of the sentence. So if you look at the example, what's your name? In Armenian, it's Inche dzեր անունը, and the question mark is actually on the word. You see that little character above the first letter, and then you have the period at the end. So I hope you learned something new. Next week, we will learn about a different aspect of Armenian history. But let's go ahead and look at a poetry by a famous Armenian poet, Hovannes Tumanyan, who was born in February 1869. He was a writer and a poet, and he had very simple poems that were very popular amongst the Armenian society. So here's a poem called Spring Invitation. So follow along with me. The sunny days of spring are coming to us. Will you come, my friend, to the mountains? The lovely birds of spring are singing for us. Will you come, my friend, to the mountains? With them we'll sing and reach the sky. Life is long and filled with flowers and sun. Hurry up, my friend, to climb the mountains. The sunny days of spring are coming to us. So simple poem about return of spring. It makes me wonder the excitement he may have felt after a long winter break. Perhaps he was cooped up. Perhaps he was excited about the the new things that spring would bring. That takes us to our next topic, which is National Poetry Month. Did you know that April is National Poetry Month? So this year marks the 25th anniversary of National Poetry Month. So I wanted to share a couple of things with you. Let's look at our next poem. So we had a chance to listen to a poem by Armenian poet Hovhannes Tumanyan, but I wanted you to think about this. Poetry is a style of literature. It's been around for thousands of years. Like other forms of poetry, boys and girls, poetry was written to share ideas, express emotions, and create imagery. So poets choose words for their meaning and acoustics, arranging them to create tempo known as meters, and a lot of poems incorporate rhymes. So this is one of my favorite. It's called Homework Machine. It's by Shel Silverstein from his book, A Light in the Attic. You may have seen it. So I'm gonna read this one to you as well. This is one of my favorite ones, especially of my children. So here we go. Ready? The homework machine. The homework machine. Oh, the homework machine. Most perfect contraption that's ever been seen. Just put in your homework, then drop in a dime, snap on the switch, and in 10 seconds time, your homework comes out quick and clean as can be. Here it is, 9 plus 4, and the answer is 3. 3? Oh my, I guess it's not as perfect as I thought it would be. All right, so if you look in the picture, boys and girls, you can see a little child in there. I wonder if that's the sibling of that character who's stuck in the machine and he's trying to do the calculations. All right, we have one more. So here's another poem, and this poem is about a topic that's important to the author. As we read, you will notice that the author has incorporated rhymes. You will also notice that this poem, the first 2 lines repeat. This is a poetic technique called anaphora. So, ready? I have to make sure I can see better. Oops. Okay, here we go. Leave the whales alone, please. Leave the whales alone, please. They don't do any wrong. They swim in every ocean and fill them with their song. Leave the whales alone, please. Like us, they've got a brain, but if we don't start using ours, we won't see them again. Leave the whales alone, please. We need them in the seas. We need their life and beauty, and all they need is peace. Leave the whales alone, please. Let them live their lives. Let them leap and swim and sing. Let the whales survive. And the author is Tony Bradman, and he's from England. And you can see the author is basically using poetry to express his feelings about protecting whales in the ocean. So he used poetry to communicate this idea. You can use other forms of literature to communicate this, right? Sometimes we write opinion pieces or informational pieces. Poetry is just one form of genre. It's one form of literature that we use to communicate ideas and emotions. All right, with that, are you ready? Mr. Jimenez, you want to take it away?
Okay, boys and girls, I know it's been a while. This is probably from 2 weeks ago. You probably already forgot, but the most important thing is that this is a new week. So we want to get, you want to come to school every day so then your classroom could win. So we're going to go back 2 weeks and see who our winners were for the last week before we went on spring break. So here we go. We're going to start with pre-K. So we got room 1 and room 5, and the winner is Miss Orozco, room 1. Congratulations, boys and girls, in that class. And we got kindergarten. We got the 5 rooms here, and the winner is, wow, look at that, 3-way tie. Room 3, room 6, and room 15. Congratulations, boys and girls, from Miss Gutierrez, Miss Hernandez, and Miss Vardanian. Good job. All right, competition. I love it. Okay, first grade. And the winner is for first grade. It's Miss Casillas, room 34. Congratulations, boys and girls. And second grade, the winner, Miss Akopian, room 30. Congratulations. And then we're going to third grade. The winner for third grade is going to be Miss Danielians, room 24. Congratulations. And fourth grade, the winner, Mr. Capel. Congratulations, Mr. Capel, boys and girls. And the last class, fifth grade, the winner is Miss Green. Congratulations. All right, boys and girls in the other classrooms. You got some competition here. I think the same classrooms are winning every week. So let's try to get a win, a different winner next week. And with that, I think it's time for a quiz.
It is. Okay, boys